Welcome to Two Readers No Filter, a podcast for people who love books and have a lot of opinions about them. If you ever finished a book and need to talk, you're in the right place. We're like a book club, but better. All together. I am Claire.
And I'm Cameron. Thank you for joining us.
Yay! Today's book club pick takes us from the page to the screen because we're covering both the novel and its adaptation. Does the story translate to your living room? Let's dive in on The 5-Star Weekend by Elin Hilderbrand. The book was published on June 27, 2023, and the show, The 5-Star Weekend, premiered on July 9th, 2026. All episodes are now available on Peacock. Hashtag not sponsored. So, a second season hasn't officially been announced, but the creator of the show says it was designed with multiple seasons in mind, which is interesting.
So I think she might be coming out with more.
Oh, Ellen, you saucy little minx.
Which,
good for you.
I thought she said she was done with Nantucket after her last Nantucket release.
She's not done with Nantucket.
She's not. After the show, she was like,
she probably saw the money. I mean, she pulled a good cast. Let's talk about that.
Yes,
I mean,
cast.
Jennifer Garner. I've never seen Regina Hall. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, no.
But
I
Jennifer
her,
Garner is, 13
Crazy
going on
cool.
30. Yeah, I was going to say, she has been around forever.
Yeah.
Darcy Carden is Janet. Janet from The Good Place.
I love her.
God, she's so good. I've seen Tatum before.
I cannot figure out where.
I can't figure out where either, but I should Google that later.
Yeah, I always forget.
And then, of course, Gigi obviously was from Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah,
and
obviously
queen. But anyways, getting back on the point, this is classified as fiction, contemporary fiction, and women's fiction. Fiction. So, as always, we're about to discuss the entire book and show, so there will be spoilers ahead. You have been warned. Get out. Make like Gigi and get out of here.
Yeah.
All right, quick overview of the book before we dive in. Hollis Shaw is the creator of the popular food blog Hungry with Hollis and seemingly has a perfect life. Until a heated argument with her husband ends with him leaving for the airport and dying in a car accident. Woof. Shattered and grieving, she decides to host a, quote, 5-star weekend, end quote, inviting one best friend from each phase of her life, her teenage years, 20s, 30s, and midlife, to her Nantucket beach house. But each guest arrives with their own baggage. A possible cancer diagnosis, a career-ending public scandal, a cheating husband, and one mysterious stranger Hollis only knows from the internet, who turns out to have many secrets. So, did you read the book or watch the show first?
I did it mixed again because I had already read the book but did not remember anything, so that doesn't really mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of reading and watching at the same time.
Nice.
I assume you read the book.
I read the book first, but I did start the show before I finished the book.
Gotcha.
So I feel like I'm growing. I feel like that was a nice turn of events.
Yeah, because you never know what they're gonna throw in different places. They could have taken something from the end and
yeah.
So
yeah, but I to be clear, I was 70 to 80%. So there wasn't
still
a ton left that she could have thrown at me.
You haven't done that before though.
I know, I'm growing. Anyways, let's get into kind of the story and major plot changes. So we get to the beginning of the book. At the beginning of the book, she is trying to deal with her grief. And so she starts to plan this weekend.
Yes.
We start to get a little bit of a background on every single friendship.
Yeah, which I have a whole point on that about the book versus the show.
Get into it.
Okay.
We're going to cross-analyze it at the same time for the folks at home because it just gets too confusing when we wait until the end.
Yeah, so. It really does because then I just lay it all out and it's confusing. Well, the fight that Matthew and Hollis had was pretty much the same. There was a little difference. There was... What were they fighting about in the book?
In the book, they were fighting that he was not going to come to the holiday party, and she was really upset about that.
And he was going to Germany, so he was going there in the book, and then the show it was just Paris.
Well, he was supposed to be going to Berlin, but she found out he was going to Paris, and he was like, "No, it's a stop through."
Yeah, that's. I remember that yeah. But I kept forgetting it was Christmas, so I wasn't. In the book, obviously in the show, it's hard to forget that. But I kept forgetting it was Christmas, and I was like, "Why do they keep playing Christmas music in the show?" And then I'm like, "Oh yeah, because it was duh." But Her house is exactly how I imagined it in both locations.
First thing I noticed that was a difference because I'm a psychopath. That's not a Serbian Shepherd.
No,
That's a Bernese
And
Mountain
it was
Dog, and that is
a boy.
cute. Yeah, Henrietta versus Henry.
Yeah, which Bernese Mountain Dogs.
I was gonna say he was really cute.
Really cute. I know. Every time he came up, I was like, "Oh my God, look at him!"
Especially when he was supposed to be growling at Gigi. I was like, "I don't buy it. You're just a sweetheart."
Yeah, look at that face.
Look at that
so
face.
cute. Yeah, I'm glad they had a Bernese Mountain Dog. But yeah, I was like, is Henrietta a figment of my imagination, or was it always Henry? Like, because they said like Henny
Yes,
a lot.
yes.
So I was like, am I just remembering this wrong? But no,
I thought the same thing. So, anyways, that was the first thing off the bat that I noticed. I agree with you in the beginning. I thought there wasn't much difference there. I think when we started to get into the show, the way that they executed her finding out about a 5-star weekend was different.
Yeah.
In the show, she was doing obviously the Good Morning America.
Jenna
Yes.
Bottega. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was like, oh my God, that's Read with Jenna.
Yep.
Guava was like, that's a real person? I was like, yeah, you don't know who Jenna is? What do you mean?
Guava, get it together.
And I remember there was something Jenna said that was like, oh, how do you cut these onions without crying? And she was like, well, my husband just died, so I don't do much without crying. And I was like, if I was Jenna, I probably would have laughed at that. And
I
like,
would've too.
Oh, wait, this is serious. You're sad about it. Okay, never mind, moving on. So I was like, I couldn't be a host for that reason. But
I just thought that like that whole dynamic was a little weird. I didn't think it was needed of like her on the TV show and then having an agent and then having the agent push it and then the agent being like, oh, well, I'm a 5-star weekend.
Get pictures.
Yeah.
Get back on.
So I liked it better in the book for that piece. But I mean, then we go on to meet the girlies. So let's go through chronological order of like when they were friends. So starting out with Tatum, what did you think about Tatum book versus show?
She was pretty much the same in my head, except in the beginning, way more of a... I literally wrote my notes because, jumping ahead, Caroline, Hollis's daughter, she was such a the entire time. But at first, in the show, Caroline was a lot nicer.
Yep.
And then Tatum was kind of like saying things, and I was like, oh my God. But I loved her and Kyle's. I loved their relationship. Well, I liked Kyle. Tatum's just a... But yeah, what did you think?
I disagree with you. I didn't love her in the book, and I didn't love her relationship in the book, but I loved her in the show. So I just thought that Kyle just feels like the guy in high school that you were like, ew, in the book. But in the show, I loved the actor they casted.
Yeah.
Made him so much better. Like, I actually liked them, and I actually was rooting for them.
Yeah.
Versus in the book, it just felt like, I don't know.
I
had secondhand embarrassment of like when you catch someone in the movie theater like trying to get handsy or whatever, and you're just like, dude, I came here for Spider-Man.
And then he kept texting her during the whole weekend in the book. Like, I feel like he was more annoying in that way in the book than in the TV show. Like
in the TV show, he was genuinely just trying to like support her.
Yeah.
In the book, I felt like he was trying to stir the pot, which kind of frustrated me. Like, he invited Jack up. Yeah. Like, he was initiating a lot of this stuff. So that's how I felt there. What did you think about Joanne?
I loved her, especially with Brooke, which, jumping ahead, but I just kind of like Joanne's personality of like kind of a lot in the sense of like she pushes you really hard, which the whole Posey thing is, I mean, that's the reason why that whole thing happened. But I feel like they were similar in the book and the show, like their personalities. But yeah, I mean,
I would say Joanne was the most similar to the book.
Yeah.
Out of all of them. Like, if I had to choose one person that was probably the most true to the book, it was Joanne. I am very interested to see why they changed the sports. Posey was supposed to be golf. Her boyfriend was golf. But then Posey in the show was soccer.
Mm-hmm.
And her boyfriend was NBA.
Yeah.
So I found that to be an interesting switch.
Yeah.
But anyways, I thought Joanne was very similar. She was what I pictured.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even see any of the promo material before I read this. So, like, you know how sometimes you see the promo material and then all of a sudden you start to see that person as them? Yeah, no, I didn't see it at all, and I was pleasantly surprised. But Brooke, and we're talking just book versus show in the beginning of her character. Because I feel like she had the strongest character arc.
What do you think?
I flipping it up on me.
Yeah.
Ooh, keep me on my toes.
You go first.
I was a little disappointed. I wanted to see, she had blonde, curly, crazy hair.
Yeah.
And that was something that was said so many times in the book that I was excited to see it. So, like, don't get me wrong, I love you, Darcy. So I'm happy about that. But also at the same time, I didn't imagine that who it was casted. So when I looked at the promo photo, I actually thought Tatum was going to be Brooke and Darcy was going to be Tatum.
Yeah.
Because of the hair color and because of the hair. And I was like, Janet can't be that mean. Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
Yeah.
And I really like Darcy as an actress. So I just didn't see it. And then they said it was Brooke and I was like, oh, interesting. I think that there was a lot of changes in her story, but I also think that she was the one that was the most malleable with the story to like help the show get more traction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There was one part of the story with Elektra. In the book, Elektra, like her and Brooke got drinks before Brooke went over to Hollis's house or whatever.
Yes.
And then Elektra came by and made it seem like her and Brooke were friends again. She put that rock and roll football, I don't know, whatever, in her calendar. And Elektra was like, oh, we're friends again. And Hollis is like, what? In the book. But in the show, it made it seem like Hollis betrayed Brooke.
Yes.
Because they went through that whole thing. And I didn't like that addition because, first of all, it just felt kind of useless to move the plot on. But like Brooke versus Hollis. Hollis is someone who might care, but she's not going to say she does. So it's like in the book, it was like, oh, okay, you're friends, whatever. But Brooke is like, she took it to heart. She's like, wow, you betrayed me. And it's this whole thing. And it's like, okay, whatever, never mind. And I just feel like she had enough going on with her character that didn't really need to be switched up and put on her of like, she got betrayed.
I actually really liked it.
Really?
Yes. But I would love to put a pin in it for later. Let's keep going with the characters and I'll tell you why. Because as they all develop, I think my point will make more sense later. But anyways, Hollis, what did you think about Hollis? We'll skip Gigi for right now.
Hollis was the same like pure character.
Yep.
In both, honestly. There is a big difference, which I'll get to towards the end.
Yeah.
That, whatever. I won't get into it, but I pretty much the same.
I agree. I thought she was the same and she was irritating in both. And I'll leave that there. Caroline, we kind of talked about of in the beginning in the show, she was a lot sweeter. Mm-hmm. And then in the book, she was just kind of a jerk the whole entire time. And then in the show, she turned it into a jerk. So I think she was kind of the same.
Yeah.
And then
it ended up being the same.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Sort of. And then Gigi, what were your thoughts on Gigi?
What did you think?
I didn't think it was significant. I think that there were a couple of changes that I was like, okay. Mm-hmm. But I just have a really hard time hating Gemma Chan. So I think that was a rough casting in that part where I was like, oh, I love her.
Yeah.
Like, anyways.
Yeah.
So getting into the story, like we were talking about before, we kind of get into everybody's individual, I would say, problem. Tatum is pending a biopsy of knowing if she has cancer or not. Drew-Ann is facing the whole getting canceled because of the thing with Posey, which I do think it was kind of crazy, that whole entire situation.
Yeah.
Really quickly, I didn't like Nick, and I was kind of frustrated because I think that you're like inserting yourself into this situation, and I feel really strongly, this is such a random, but I gotta throw it in here right now. I feel so passionately like if you're in a relationship like that, it's not your kid and my kid. Like, no, it's our kid at that point. And if you're not going to give me like a role in this person's life, then I'm out.
Yeah.
Like, I feel so strongly about that part of the story did not compute for me.
Yeah.
And was very frustrating.
Yeah.
Anyways. Yeah. And then Brooke is struggling with her husband. Charlie is going under a lawsuit for sexual assault. Mm-hmm. So that's rough. And then Gigi is out in the abyss. So there's that. And Hollis is trying to deal with the death. Mm-hmm. Caroline's trying to deal with the death. In the book, she's having an affair with her mentor.
Yeah, I hated
that. But in the show, she is not. So there's two elements there. But
I'm
anyways,
glad they took that out for the show. I hated that storyline.
Yeah.
I hated it. I was just getting so annoyed with Caroline. Like, I didn't even want to hear from her anymore. And then the fact that like the Isaac thing was still there, I was like, just shut up. So I was really glad they didn't have that in the show.
I think she was still insufferable in the show.
Oh,
so
she
they did a great job with that.
100%.
Okay, so the arrivals. So in the book, it was a little bit different with Caroline's arrival.
Mm-hmm.
In the book, she arrived with Dylan because her mom forgot her at the airport.
Oh, yeah.
I felt really bad about that. But in the show, she wasn't supposed to show up at all.
No.
And then she just showed up, and her mom was like, "Oh, my friends are about here," and she was like, "Oh, I'll leave." So I didn't love that as much. I kind of wish she would have had more of the photographer, videographer plot line, but not with Isaac.
Yeah.
I just think she should have like had something, maybe got rejected from like a big job or something and needed to come home, like everything was not going her way. I think we could have gotten away with that type of plot line.
Yeah.
She was not that serious of a character.
No.
But anyways, then I think next up was Druanne. Druanne showed up, and I thought that she was a lot more personable and everybody was a lot warmer in the show.
Yeah.
Because I think that in the book, it was just a lot colder on every front.
Yeah. It definitely was.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's also because you can't hear the tone of people.
Yeah.
And so I automatically go to like worst case scenario of like everyone just being to each other.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I do agree it was warmer in the show.
Then next was Brooke. Druanne and Hollis were watching from the window as like Brooke was like struggling to come
Her
in.
hat was flying off.
And I just remember I was like, geez, come on, girl.
Yeah.
The next was Tatum.
Mm-hmm.
In the book, she drove up with Kyle and Jack. In the show, she just drove up with Jack, which I kind of found that to be a little snaky in the book.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was about it. I think that she just genuinely wanted to spend time with Kyle, and I get that because you're going through something. So like I get needing your partner there, but I don't know. In the book, she was dragging Jack into everything.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of weird of like, come on, Holly, let's go meet them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I understand she wanted to go back to the golden era because she's getting her mind off of it and everything like that. But also like you're putting Hollis in a weird spot. Like her husband just died. Her daughter's being an absolute.
Yep.
So like maybe give her a minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyways.
It's also Kyle. It's his fault too. He's enabling. But
I again think show Kyle and book Kyle are two different things. Yes. Book Kyle, he enabled, he was wrong. Show Kyle, I think that it probably could have just been like a, hey, I have to use the van here. Aubrey needed this, whatever.
Yeah.
So, but the next person to arrive would have been Gigi.
Mm-hmm.
But Gigi like missed a flight and came really late, and so then she just out of nowhere appeared.
Yeah. Which underwhelming entrance. Like, I mean, rightfully so. She doesn't know these people.
Yeah.
She's British. So she just walks in. She's like, "Hello, anybody home? Hello, hello." And then they're like, "Hi," and then they're all just sitting there. Like it was, whatever.
One thing that I did miss from the book was the interviews.
I wrote that down.
Yes,
I wrote that down.
I'll throw that in there. In the book, Caroline did interviews with each person except for Gigi, which that works out well. Spoiler. But that works out well in the fact that she didn't ask her about anything.
Mm-hmm.
But she did an interview with Tatum and Druanne and Brooke to basically get to know her mom a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
And I just I loved that she did that because I think that's what solidified my mom's just a girl.
Yeah.
She's just trying her best. She was a girl. She didn't have a mother growing up. She had a lot going on.
Yeah.
I think we got a lot of great background.
Yeah. And it was in the show, I know she kind of came to that conclusion of wow, my mom lost her mom.
Mm-hmm.
And then she was not adopted by Tatum's mom, but kind of raised by her. And then she died, and then her dad died, and then her husband died. And so she's coming to this conclusion on her own, which I just felt kind of random because it was with Aubrey.
Yeah.
I liked the moments where she would find these things out with her mom's friends. And we got to look into when she was younger.
Yeah.
We didn't get any of that, really.
Yeah.
In the show.
Agree.
So
I thought it was very interesting how like the next piece of it is like the dinner party with like the pajama party and everything like that. And I thought it was really interesting how when Hollis stepped out, they were all talking of like, we need to get her talking, this, that, the other. And I just like, I found that to be so different from the book. In the book, they were all very cold to each other, except for Brooke. Yeah. Brooke was like trying to talk to anybody and everybody who would listen. But I just found it so interesting that like they already had like this togetherness in the show when I would have been like, I would have never done that.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, picture yourself. This is exactly the scenario. Picture yourself on a bachelorette where you know none of the other girls or you've heard of them.
Yeah. Or maybe interacted with them one time.
Yep.
Max.
That's a no for me. So I would know, I would have tried, but I definitely would have had my customer service voice on.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I heard you have a son in high school. What's he up to? Tell me all about him. Like,
yeah.
I don't mean it. I'm not storing this forever.
I would also be closed off. So it's a weird situation.
But anyways, Hollis basically burns the tart and is like, we need to move on. Which in the book, everything came out perfectly. She never burned anything. Yeah. So I think it was just showing that she was not okay.
Yeah. And the book did not do a good job of like, it would have her, but it was third person. So it wasn't like internal thoughts.
Yeah.
But everything just had to be perfect. And I'll get to that more later. But like, yeah.
The next morning they were supposed to get up for yoga and they never did.
Yep.
I thought this was such a waste of 20 pages.
Just like, the yoga teacher walking around.
Yes. And also being like, oh my God, hungry with all this. Like, I thought it was so stupid. And I don't think it added anything. I also think it was like, I don't know, disrespectful.
Yeah.
It like none of you were, because there were a couple different point of views where people heard someone up and at them in the house going, hello?
And they're just like,
hello? Hello?
I agree.
Yoga thing wasn't needed. But anyways, then they went shopping in town. In the book, Hollis went with Tatum and they all went and got breakfast together, all four of them. Kyle, Jack, Tatum, and Hollis. And Duran went shopping and ran into the influencers by herself. Brooke and Gigi went into a store. And so that still kind of happened that way. But the difference was in the show, Hollis went with Duran.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think about all of this scene?
I liked when... I mean, the influencer stuff, whatever. Yeah. I don't really care. But Hollis and Duran, when Duran kind of called her out, like, you can't, like, feel your feelings. Everything has to be perfect. You want to act like everything's okay. I like how Duran called her out on that. And then Brooke and Gigi, okay, like, that's just weird. The tour guide, I won't get into that yet, but oh yeah, the walking tour. You have to say.
I wish you guys could see her face.
Yeah, I don't know. That was just like, oh, and then her kissing Gigi when they were in the store.
Yeah,
and like I know that was in the book. She kissed Duran, and that was later on.
I really loved the drunken Duran kiss, though.
Yeah, so
like I thought it was so fitting.
But yeah, that. I especially liked just Duran and Hollis.
I agree with everything you said. The only thing that I think you missed was I really enjoyed seeing that Tatum and Jack are friends.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
I thought that was really cute. And the fact that, like, Kyle told him, obviously. And she was like, oh, Kyle told you? And he's like, Tatum, he's scared. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is scary stuff. And she's like, shut up. Like, Aubrey's here or whatever. But I really liked being able to see that because I think that if Ellen showed more of that in the book, I would have been more inclined to be okay with like the four of them hanging out.
Yeah, her forcing it.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Because I would have been like, oh, they're a friend group. Like Tatum just wants it to feel like old times. Like that makes sense. Like it, you know what I mean? She wants to be surrounded by people who she cares about.
Yeah.
But like in the book, it just like was like, oh yeah, Jack was the guy that she was hooking up with. Like it wasn't anything deep.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I appreciated that. And then I agree with everything that you said so far.
Yeah, I forgot about Tatum.
But then in the car ride home in the show, Brooke picks up Gigi's phone and sees a picture of Matthew.
Yes.
I would say this is a significant change.
Yes, very. Because in the book, none of them ended up actually knowing.
No one knew in the book.
Which I hated.
I was going to say, I had a huge problem with that.
I loved that change. Yep. I loved it. the one thing, Guava and I were both talking about this, because I love a surprise in a book, like a plot twist. I kind of wish the audience did not know about this affair, especially in the book. I feel like in the book it was like Gigi and Matthew had an affair, and then it was like just straight up, and I was like, okay, now I know about this whole time, and it's just in the back of my head, and it's just a waiting game of when Hollis figures this out. So I wish we figured out in the book at least when Hollis did, because I don't like knowing things the entire time. But in the show, I like how Brooke was the one to find out, and then I hated that she had to be the one to keep the secret, the blabbermouth of the group. But yeah, what did you think?
I also think everybody was kind of like, Brooke's a lot, and then Gigi was nice to her, and then she had to like basically say, "You're not a good friend," and in her head, she was like,
yeah.
Because again, she was the one for Hollis right after the hospital.
Yeah.
She was there. She was doing all the stuff for the funeral and everything. Even in the book, that was synonymous.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I loved that plot twist too.
Yeah.
Especially because Hollis was making eye contact with her, like in the mirror and everything. Oh, they did that really well.
Yeah. And that same scene in the book, like the car, just that was like a stupid little scene, like a waste of pages.
When they did it in the book, it was Duran was pissed because Tatum was smoking, and it was like gonna get in her hair or whatever, and so it was another reason for them to like clash. I didn't like that, and I also didn't like, and this was my point that I just remembered, the snake in the bed.
Oh,
I thought that was so annoying.
That was.
It was so stupid.
It was really stupid.
And also, just for a comment about Payless shoes, like, move on.
This is why I forgot about Tatum.
I get it, but I also think like you could just do it with passive aggressive mean girlness.
Yeah, like whatever.
So they arrived at the spa. I think the whole Elektra thing was kind of annoying, but she's meant to be annoying.
Yeah,
but I didn't think it was necessary for a lot of the spa. But also the spa didn't happen in the book, so all of that was off book.
Yeah. And then them getting high, obviously.
Yeah, they took the weed mints and got high in the spa, which I liked that because I think it added a level of suspense for the viewer in the fact of a lot of people know what they're not supposed to know.
Yeah.
And so when people are high, they normally get a little loose-lipped. So I have a thought on the spa. At this point, which is something that we missed that I'll fill in really quick because it's going to come into my point. The night before, Hollis and Tatum in the show went on a bike ride. And they basically were thinking about all the good times and like when they were younger. And Tatum was basically like, you abandoned me. And at this point, she's already had a run-in with Joanne shopping. Tatum said that. So I think that the thing with Brooke and Elektra in the spa and how the show did it was the final nail in the coffin. Hollis is wrong to these people, but they still showed up for her. And I think that was the point that I really liked, that they flipped this, because it showed that it was Hollis's fault. Instead of basically Brooke being like, oh, it's fine. Like, she stepped away from it. Like, she followed me out of solidarity. In the show, is very much like, no, from the beginning, Brooke, like, Hollis was on Brooke's side.
Yeah.
And then it showed with the Elektra thing that, no, she was shady. And I think it goes to show that, like, Hollis wasn't a great friend in every single circumstance.
Yeah.
And yet they still showed up for her. So I really liked that.
I just felt bad for Brooke.
100%. She didn't need that. But, yeah.
Proved, Hollis is not great. Then
dinner at Crew.
And that was when Gigi was acting all weird and she was about to, like, confess.
Yes.
And then Brooke was like,
I kissed her.
I kissed Gigi. And then she kind of like passive aggressively was like, that was the thing I shouldn't have done. I was not a good friend. I am married. That was wrong. And they're like, what? Like Tatum and Joanne were like, what is happening?
Well, I thought it was also so weird because Brooke was the one giving her the cold shoulder.
Yeah.
And then she apologized. Like, I just wouldn't have bought it.
No.
After that, they wanted to go out. Chicken box.
Yeah.
I thought that this was very different from the book because, again, they split up and Tatum and Hollis went with the boys. And then this is where the whole Joanne Brooke kiss thing happened.
Yep.
But in the show, they all were together. They all went to the bar. Gigi had a friend show up to try and like get her out of this weekend and be like, girl, you need to leave. But I didn't find the bar scene really significant. Joanne was watching Posey, and Kyle and Tatum had a fight.
And then Brooke did run into the seasonal sight interpreter. I found that relationship very strange because I could not get over the fact that the seasonal sight interpreter looked like 20 years old. Like, she looked so young at first, mostly. And then her, like, Brooke, like, being all over her. And I was like, this is weird. This is very weird to me. But it was kind of pivotal for Brooke because that's when they started, like, texting a lot. And then, yeah.
Yeah. I like that Brooke, like, as soon as after she kissed Gigi, her arc and how strong she became as a character, like, I think that my opinion about that is the same for book and show. One honorable mention, the whole scene in the bar with Brooke and her new girlfriend. I don't do contemporary dance. I'm gonna leave that there. I think we know how I feel based on my tone. Moving on.
Okay, wait. There was that scene where Hollis and Gigi were on the beach. They went swimming. And that's funny. Like, I would always watch those scenes and be like, who does that? But there was one time that I was at the beach with my friend and the water just looked so nice and we were fully clothed, like we're not prepared. And we go in the water and Guava's yelling at us the whole time, like, where are your towels? You don't have towels. We have to ride home in the car and you're going to be wet and sandy. And so I kept saying that to Guava the entire time. But they went into the water and then they came back and Charlie was there, Brooke's husband.
Oh, yeah.
And Hollis, that scene was cracking me up because he said something like, Hollis, like, these people aren't even your friends. Like, an Asian and a black girl, where are you finding these people? Oh, and Joanne was like, oh, damn, and he's racist too. Like, I mean, yeah, it tracks.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It tracks. But Brooke was like finally sticking up for herself. Like, no, Charlie, go. I don't want to be with you anymore. Like, done. And Hollis was like stepping in for her, being like, this is my friend. And he's like, that's not your friend. But
also, you know, when you have been on those girl weekends and at the end of it, you do feel stronger to some of those people. I mean, so, like, I get it.
No.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Of like, maybe not on Friday, but today is Saturday. And I like her.
And I love her. Yeah. Yeah. And then Hollis and Gigi were like, you want to go do the thing? And then that's when she gets her ear pierced. But during that is when Brooke finally tells Tatum and Joanne.
Yes.
That Gigi was sleeping with Matthew.
Hollis and Gigi are piercing ears in the bathroom. Yeah. And they basically like butt in and they're like, Hollis, you're so tired. You should go and take a nap. Yeah. We're going to make you a snack. Gigi, let's go play tennis. Yeah. We're not asking.
Ugh. That scene was funny.
I didn't think so. I thought it was so dumb. Like, you're over here screaming to each other while you're playing tennis. So when did the affair start? Like, please.
I'm more so thinking about when they started, how she was like, I don't know how to play tennis. And Tatum or Brooke was like, just pretend. And Joanne was like, you don't pretend to play a sport. Like, that's crazy. Yeah. And then they start hitting it and they're like having this serious conversation. Tatum's like, 40, love. And then Brooke's like, oh my God, I hit it. Like, that whole like dynamic, it just like really brought out like who they are. Yeah. But it was like, I mean, I felt overwhelmed.
Which,
and I wasn't Gigi.
This is a huge change from the book. And like we said before, in the book, none of the friends knew.
I hate that. I actually hate that so much.
I think that if there's anyone you can tell, it's your friends.
Yes.
Like, I agree with her of like not spoiling it and telling Caroline and everything like that. Like, I agreed with her choice there. But like, the friends? Hell yeah, tell your friends.
Yeah. Like, yeah. I don't know. I really liked, especially when she found out and then that night she was like, okay, I gotta make a pizza. It's make your own pizza night. And she's making it and then she like goes drops the cornmeal or whatever and then starts hitting the oven. And Guava and I were getting really stressed. We were like, that's a really nice oven. Her kitchen's too nice for her to be doing that. But girl, then I loved how
hit the Hamilton.
I know. Seriously. And then she was like, okay, I'm just gonna go upstairs and whatever. And I loved how all the friends stepped in and were cleaning the kitchen and like them watching her like break it, like that just made it so there was no point. Like, yeah, seriously, like
I'm getting goosebumps.
that didn't happen at all. Not even close in the book. There was no like point where her friends could like. I don't feel like they had a chance to step up like that because Hollis kept everything to herself.
Because to me, it didn't in the book, which is so funny that someone's adaptation of the book did translate this. But to me, it wasn't translated that like this relationship really did grow and like spent the time in it. Like I didn't feel after finishing the book, sleepover, forever connected, we'll never forget this night. Oh my God.
No.
I did feel that way in the show.
Yes.
So I think that the show like did a really good job. And I think part of that is because everyone found out about the secret and were like, there's the door.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And stood behind her.
Yup. I loved that change. I thought that was necessary. The book was 100% missing that.
I agree.
But then they all sat in the bathroom and were like passing the shampoo bottle, doing like a talking circle, whatever Brooke called it. And they all just opened up. Like that moment of
Tatum.
them all. Well, like I said, I keep forgetting about Tatum because she just gets on my nerves. But
no, I get it. I wouldn't have opened that up because it would have opened up the jar of worms of like, whoa, did you do this? Did you do this? What does that look like? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think I understood.
Yeah.
But I did like how Joanne and Tatum made up.
They had that inside joke. And because they were talking and one of them said something and they were laughing and Hollis was like, what's happening?
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, we're friends.
Yeah.
You see that?
I really appreciated that though, because I do think that Tatum and Joanne are the same person. They're just in different fonts.
Yeah. 100%.
You know? So, and I really appreciated how Brooke was there, but in a different way. Like she had the kids and everything. But the way that the whole cheating scandal came about in the book, if you're following along with us, was Electra came to dinner or lunch. It was lunch. And she was like, Gigi, you look really familiar. Like, I saw you with Matthew in Atlanta. And Hollis and Gigi basically talked it all out in the basement when they went on the ship. And I think in the book, that's when Tatum and Joanne made up, was on the boat.
Yeah. And that scene kind of happened with like Electra being like, I've seen you somewhere.
Yeah.
In the show when it was Caroline and Gigi. Was it some bar? I don't know if it was the box again. I don't know. It was the box. Because she's like, can I get some crisps? And they're like, no. And she's like, this is the chicken box. Why don't you have food? And then they were sitting there and Electra's like, I've seen you, Gigi.
Yeah.
And then that's when Caroline
basically found out.
Gigi lied, obviously, but she's smart enough to figure that out.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that's not how Hollis found out and that she could escape and not have her friends involved. I didn't like that in the book.
Yeah. I loved in the show how they told Hollis and Hollis was like, what?
Yeah.
And then she went to go find Gigi, found Gigi, rolled down the window, asked 3 questions, and then was like, bye. And rolled up the window and went home.
Yeah.
Loved that.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, girl.
All right.
Fair enough. But also, do you know how mortifying that is?
Yeah.
All my friends found out, and now I have to go. And I was justifying your presence all weekend.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It is embarrassing.
Like, now I have to wait for my ear hole to close because I can't have that.
That reminder.
Exactly. Like, I can't do that. Anyways.
Yeah. But then Caroline brought Gigi back to the house because she was drunk in the show.
Yeah.
And then
Jack came over. And they slept together.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that? Didn't happen in the book.
Did not. I thought it was nice that she's like, no, I don't like when it happened because it seemed kind of like,
no,
I'm glad it happened, but not when it did because she had just found out about her husband. And it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna get back at him and sleep with Jack. Like, to me, if I were Jack, I would have been like, is she doing this because she just found out about this? And yeah, spiteful.
Yeah,
that's what I would have thought. But yeah, what did you think?
I didn't like it for a couple of different reasons. I think the sexual tension and the yearning of like when the power went out before and everything, I liked that piece of it.
Yeah.
But I think, guys, if you're hoping to get a second season, I think it would have been a stronger pull if they did the urinating.
Yeah.
Of like, we wanted to, but we didn't.
Yeah.
You know? And especially if he looked at her and he said, you're not ready, and I know that.
Yeah.
But you're it for me, Holly. And then just left.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on. Amazing.
I agree.
Or I think he would have said, like, I'll hold you until you fall asleep. That's it.
Yeah.
And then made her breakfast in the morning. The girlies would have eaten that up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think that, I don't know. I think something is so sacred about a girls' weekend where I'm like, respect that.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I just think that I didn't love, in the book, she made out with him in a car. And in the show, she obviously, like, had sex with him in the house. I just think he shouldn't have been there.
It was really weird.
It was like a weird step.
And it was, Guav and I were like, why is he deciding to clean the gutters at this hour?
Because booty call.
Like,
how else is he supposed to? He didn't have her number.
It's true.
He wanted to see her at late night. Clean her gutters.
I thought it was really weird. I didn't like that.
I didn't like it either. I thought it was too forced. I also think that it's just one of those things that, like, if this death is, like, really messing with you, why are we moving on so fast? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It didn't feel authentic to me, but I also have not lost a husband before,
So,
knock on wood. Hopefully I never will. But maybe that's that. I don't know. Because to me, it just felt like really frustrated, like, why weren't you together? Why were you looking up Jack when he was still with you? Why were you concerned that he was coming home for you? I don't know. It didn't sit right with me. Because it didn't sit right with me when she looked him up when they finished fighting.
yeah.
When she looked up Jack on Facebook after they were done fighting, that's messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
So then, by the end of the weekend, Hollis and Gigi have I would say, the face-to-face of, like, what you did was wrong. It was messed up. And Gigi lets her know in a little secret, telling her Matthew was coming back for you. He wasn't. He chose you. He wasn't going to see me. And that's when he died in the car accident. And I thought that was a nice plot twist in the book and the show. Yeah. I mean, obviously I saw it coming in the show because I read the book. But I thought it was a nice twist. But I didn't think it was strong enough.
No, I don't think so either. I was kind of like, okay, he's dead.
Yeah.
What do you want from me?
Well, I also think that the timing of that in the show was rough. She just slept with Jack.
Yeah.
And then she found out that he was coming back. So you did lose. Like, you know what I mean? So you are in the wrong. You should feel guilty about what you just did. I don't know. That's how I felt about it. I was like, oh, of course, Gigi making her feel worse again.
Yeah.
But
there we go.
Basically ended in, like, kumbaya. Oh, we're so happy we had this weekend together.
Let's
like,
do it again next year.
Let's do it again next year, but minus Gigi. But in the book, they were in a plane like a year later or whatever, doing something, and Gigi was flying the plane. And they were like, let's go say hi to Gigi. And I was like, Hollis, why have you still not told them?
That's insane to me.
Well, I just think that we didn't grow.
No.
The whole reason you didn't have these relationships prior was because you didn't open up and, like, have these connections or whatever, and you're doing it again. Why didn't you tell them?
That made me so mad in the book. But in the show, I especially like how her and Caroline, because the whole thing was Caroline was like, you can't keep things from me. It makes me it makes it hard to talk to you. And I was just like, yes, you're right. And then she's finally like, I need to tell you something about your father. And she's like, Mom, I already know. Like, I'm a human. I'm 20, maybe 22 at this point. But that made them, like, open up to each other and grow closer, because she had that growth throughout the show of, like, she dealt with her pain. She didn't keep sweeping it under the rug. She had her friends there. And, like, I don't know. It so much better.
Yeah. Other changes. Dylan versus Aubrey.
Yeah.
I was going to say, in the book, Dylan was Tatum's son versus Aubrey.
Yeah.
So that was a change. I also think that she wasn't friends with Aubrey in the book. So her and Dylan made out at the bar. And then you find out that Dylan was just using Caroline to make Aubrey jealous and get back together. I thought that was cold-blooded.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's kind of rough for you, Caroline.
Yeah. But in the show, her and Aubrey were friends, but there was this thing with Dylan going on.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they went to the lighthouse. They were going to do it or whatever. And then got busted by the cops. And then Aubrey got pissed off. And Caroline was like, Dylan, why was I ever into this? But Dylan cracked me up. Like, he's just one of those characters that I was like, I don't even care that he's so stupid. Like, when he was cleaning that one boat.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he was like, let's talk about Nantucket things like ghosts. And then he was like, oh, I shouldn't have said that.
Oh my God.
Your dad is dead and he's probably a ghost.
I was like, oh my God.
And then take a deck pick.
I thought, I was just like, Caroline, this is so embarrassing.
I
for
know,
you.
it really is.
And Aubrey too. She seems so cool. And I was like, don't.
I
just
know.
leave him. Which I loved how she was like, I left him and thanks for that, actually.
Yeah.
So
you can have him, but she was like, no.
yeah.
No.
I think the only other thing that I was thinking.
Oh, Tatum's cancer.
I don't even want to talk about that. I'm so irritated. That pissed me off, actually. Them changing that.
Yeah.
I was so irritated. And when we never got the doctor, like in the book, they said, I know this is not what you want to hear. And then Tatum starts thinking about all the things you like montage about when like you're talking about near-death experiences.
Yeah.
And then zones back in as soon as the doctor was like, but I'm so happy there's nothing going on with you and like you're completely healthy or whatever.
Yeah.
But in the show, when the doctor never came back in,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, shoot. And I think that they are setting it up for a second season in the fact of like
100%.
stuff going on. I think they might bring in Nick for Drew-Ann and like all this
Mhm.
stuff. But yeah, that made me angry because I really liked Tatum and I was excited for her because I think she is just doing her best and living her own life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I did not like that either. I agree.
So I would call these like viewing experience honorable mentions.
Mm-hmm.
The commercials in between, I don't know if you saw, Ellen was like interviewing actors and stuff.
Yep.
And then advertising drinks at the same time and advertising a podcast. So I thought that was crazy. Like there's so much that they're trying to produce from this one thing that I was like, Ellen, are we in financial trouble, sis?
Are you
Like
okay?
what's going on? Because I feel like we're really trying to make a buck here.
Yeah.
I don't know. It felt really pushed.
Yeah.
Where maybe because it was a star-studded cast, they were like, we can get a ton of money from this. Like let's just soak it in.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
Felt icky to me. The other honorable mention of like viewing experience that I had here was the intro and the credit scenes were so cute.
I know. I loved
and
them.
the way that they started out an episode of saying like, this is where we're at in the
Yeah.
itinerary. This was so cute, so fitting. They did the whole vibe right.
Yeah.
Let's get into the ratings. And you want to do first what the show did better and then what the book did better?
Yes.
Okay.
So I narrowed it down to 3 things the show did better.
Whoa. Okay.
It's going to be clear what I recommend. We already touched on all these, so I won't go into it. But
yeah,
revealing the affair.
Yep.
Number 1. No Isaac and Caroline because they piss me off. And then Caroline and Hollis's relationship at the end because of everything that happened with the affair getting revealed. Like I just think that helps so much with their relationship. But what did you think?
I think the show did so much better of like making them actually feel like a girl gang.
Yeah.
In the book, I didn't buy it. Not even a little bit.
No.
So, I thought that was kind of silly. But I agree with your alternate points as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the book, the only thing I think it did better, I really had to rack my brain for this. Going into Hollis's relationship with each star when Caroline interviewed each of the friends. I think that was like the top thing.
Yeah, so that was my also. Was the interviews.
Yeah.
I missed the interviews because I think you missed that in the show, but I also think that it could be something that they do flashbacks in season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like again.
True.
They see how they go from
That's
here.
true. But
yeah.
But anyways, that's
I almost think like, I don't know, Peacock, Ellen, whoever, if you're listening to this, I almost think they should do a season for each friendship.
Ooh.
And like completely break it down because then it would be fun to see, for example, like the campus of UNC and Brooke and like being the mom friend and everything like that. And then they would also be able to like expand the show without giving that away.
Yeah.
And it could be like a sequel type of thing because most of the time like people want more of the show or they want more of the characters, but they don't want you to go past where it's necessary.
Yeah.
Because, for example, they could take this season 2, season 3, and then everyone would be like, why are they keep dragging it out?
Yeah.
But if they continue the story that they didn't harp on the first time,
Yeah.
it would be like, you know, season 2, Druanne.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd be able to get into it.
Because there's so much there.
Yeah.
Like,
it would be the whole entire interview chapter.
That would be so good. Take our advice, please.
Exactly. But because they didn't even show like all the stuff with Druanne where everybody wanted Druanne in the sorority. Nobody wanted Hollis.
Yeah.
So.
And then, yeah, there was so much there.
Yeah.
So.
But anyways, all right. Book versus show. What are the ratings?
Book, I'm going to go 3 stars. What are you going to say?
I rated it on Goodreads 3.75.
Okay.
I take it back. 3 stars. I agree with you.
See, after talking, this is what always happens to me.
Yeah. I go
it
lower.
Changes. So.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I enjoyed the story. I almost wanted to like. Sorry, Ellen. This is extremely disrespectful, but also I mean it. I almost wish someone else wrote it. Like, gave the characters, gave the everything. I just thought that, like, she had such a great idea and it fell flat in so many different places. Because here's the thing, too, is that she had this great plot. She was going places. She had this girl weekend. Like, the energy was there and everything like that. And then you brought a man back into it.
I knew you were going to say that.
Sorry.
No.
But also, like, 5-star weekend, it was supposed to be focused on the women relationships. And I think as someone who loves the books, I mean, what are all the historical fiction or the fantasies or like the whatevers that I give to you? What do I say? It has a beautiful relationship in it because I know you'll eat that up at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We all do.
Don't need to bring a man into it.
No. And so I was so frustrated that Jack was even there.
Yes.
We're like, don't get me wrong, Tatum, I understand having a partner, but your partner can't be there for you for every single little thing.
No.
In the fact that, like, you have women pieces and parts and, like, for example, menopause, like, all these things, pregnancy, birth. Like, no man can help you through that.
Nope. Yeah, I knew you were going to say that when we were reading it. I was like, this is supposed to be a girls' weekend. Because I was having that thought, too, and I was like, oh, Claire's really going to...
Yeah. No.
Which, rightfully so. Because it's supposed to be girl-centric.
So 3 stars for both.
3 stars across the board. The show, I actually really liked the show. And I wish I didn't have the book in the back of my mind, like thinking like, ooh, like this is like going back and forth because I was like, the show is so much better in this way. But I would say the show is probably like 4 stars. I really enjoyed it because I love the cast also. So, but what about you?
I thought the show was 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I'm intrigued if they do a second season. I think the cast was great. I really liked how they band together at the end because I do think they ended up like giving the feeling that I was waiting for.
Yeah, don't get it in the book.
But my biggest issue with it all was kind of what you were hinting at of like, I just wish I didn't read the book. You can't read and watch everything in your lifetime. So sometimes you got to be picky and choosy.
Yeah.
And I wish I didn't spend time reading this book.
I know.
And I wish that I just watched the show because I think I would have had such a great time just consuming it.
Yes. That was because this was my second time reading it. And obviously it wasn't that memorable the first time. So I was like, here we go again.
Yeah.
Like, gotta read this because I would not have remembered anything. But the show, I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
And I think it gave everything that the book wasn't giving.
Yeah.
So
good job, show.
Yeah, good job, show. This is like another one of those like weird times that we're like, no, actually, don't read the book.
Don't read it.
Yeah. But anyways, the show brought Nantucket to your living room. So just watch the show.
Yeah.
It's not.
Don't do the book.
Yeah, don't do it. As always, thank you for joining us. If you liked our podcast, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe. You can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. We also have a Goodreads account for following along on what we're reading, planning to read, and what we have mentioned on the podcast. Find us on Instagram at 2Readers No Filter Podcast and TikTok at 2Readers No Filter Pod. Give us a follow and see some of our goofy content. As we are a new podcast, we would love it if you could share this episode with one person. Maybe your reading buddy.
Maybe Kevin or Oscar.
Oh my god. No, maybe one of your 5 stars.
Maybe one of your 5 stars.
You have 5 stars, you should send them to them. Send this to them. Anyways, we will see you next time.
Bye.